Love, your love, here we go. Sit back, hold up, open up, just enjoy the show. I like ice cream, whipped cream, Nancy dreams. Do you know, can you feel what I mean? Say yeah. Oh, oh, oh. It feels so good, and you knew that it was. When we're bringing on the boom, boom, and you're so sweet. Your head to your feet when I'm giving you the boom. If you wake up in the morning in somebody else's room, blame it on the boom boom.
Yeah, that was his birthday party. I mean, I guess that was his birthday gift. We were at the practice house, and it was funny, man. We met Ben the night before. We had kind of a get together, and I just remember. The next day we all got together, and it was Chris's 16th birthday. I think, Ben, you were 15, John and I. John was 17, I was 16, and it was just cool. You know, we all four got together, and been doing it ever since. It's 2012 now, so it's been a while. All original members.
When I joined up, John, Fred, John, and Chris had already been jamming together, and then I came down. At the time, they weren't like 100%, you know, like a band that was going out playing shows and stuff like that. They were just kind of jamming around. And I was wanting to be in a band, and we just kind of played together that night, and we decided we would start the band. We said, okay, look, you guys have been jamming. I want to be in a band. Let's just start the band here. So the next day we started our official rehearsal as a band, and then we were booking our own shows and stuff like that. But there was no band name and no real musical direction or anything. It was just happenstance, really.
And I played so many different things before I finally found bass. When I was a kid, I played drums in school band, of course. That's actually how John, Fred, Chris, and I got to be hanging out and all that. We were all in drumline together in Metcalfe County High School. But I played piano when I was real young. Started playing guitar when I was like 13 or 14 years old. And then John, Fred, and Chris, Chris called me and asked me if I wanted to play bass. And the three of us get together and play music together. And I was like, well, yeah, I'll make the swap. So I traded a 92 Fender Strat and a 212 Fender guitar amp for a Washburn Lion Series piece of crap P-Bass copy. And another 212 guitar amp that I had to take that because it was part of the deal. And I had to trade that to get a 115 PV combo. And I blew the speaker out of it in like 2-3 weeks.
2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, probably.
John made a lot of sacrifices to actually lose 2 strings on the guitar. He actually made a lot of sacrifices.
Yeah.
And he, you know,
here we are today.
Incredible bass player, you know.
In the bedroom, the bathroom, the classroom, the last room on the left.
Howard's a great dude. Everybody we've worked with has been awesome. They've brought a lot of different stuff to the table for us, and we've taken a lot of stuff from each person we've worked with. But they all have different things that they all excel on different levels. Howard has like a team of dudes. It's not just him. He's got like 4 or 5 other dudes that work with him while he's not in the studio. They kind of like oversee and take care of things. So you know, on one hand that could be really cool, whereas somebody like Bob Marlette or Richard or somebody like that, you know, where they're in the studio every single day, it's really just a difference in you know, a difference in I don't want to say work ethic, because they all worked
just
as equally as hard. Yeah, it's just there are different methods of doing it, you know. But at the end of the day, it's 3 albums and 3, in our opinion, 3 great products.
I think if you try to make the record you did, you know, on the last one, it's like you kind of date yourself, if that makes sense. Not that you can't take your roots with you, and you also, like Ben was saying, you want to try your hardest to take everything you've learned that works for you and adapt that to the next record you do. And obviously there's things you learn working with different people. I mean, even you know, in live situations, you know, you find out what works for you. You find out things that, you know, there might be a better way of doing it, or there might be a easier way. And it's just a learning process. I think that of course, like we've got our single out right now, Like I Roll. It's the 4th single off the album, and the album was released May 31st last year. So I mean, for us to have 4 singles off an album that's not even a year old, it's really good. I mean, especially for us, because on the first record we had like 3 singles, the second we had 3, so we've outdone ourselves here with it.
Howard came in, did drums. He was there for that process, and then he disappeared. And it was us and the engineer, Mike Blotnikoff, and we came up with different guitar hooks and ways around the song and all that. So guitars and bass were done by us. We kind of gave us a little bit more of a creative freedom during that process. Then he came back in and we started doing vocals. But even doing vocals though, like Chris would go up to the booth and he'd sing, and Howard's method behind it was, okay, sing it the way that you got it on the demo. And Chris would do that. Like, okay, now sing it a completely different way. Just come up with an idea and just sing it. I'd have him do 3 or 4 different things like that, and then I'd go up there to do a background part, and he would kind of do the same thing with me. Like, okay, this is what Chris is doing here on this pass. What do you think it needs to be? And I'd sing it and be like, okay, cool. Next, he'd go to one of the other parts that Chris did. He'd have me do 2 or 3 different versions of stuff here and there. He kind of like pulled a lot of different stuff out of us, and then from there we'd start like building everything together. Like, okay, well, this is great, but it worked better with this other half of the other way that you did it, whatever. But the whole creative part of it, of us coming up with the idea, was us and its own original kind of standing.
This is actually our 2nd time doing ShipedRocked. This will be our 4th cruise. We did the VH1 cruise a couple years ago. We did ShipedRocked right before we went in to record the new album. And then we flew from Los Angeles when we finished the album to Florida to do the Leonard Skinner cruise. So after our first one we ever did, we always said any cruise opportunity we get, we want to do them.
We did 2010 ShipedRocked, and then of course we're doing it again. So.
And you liked it? It worked well.
Dude, it was really cool.
That's cool.
When I'm giving you the boom, if you wake up in the morning.
It's ironic. It wasn't really embarrassing. It was kind of, we felt bad. It was kind of funny at the same time. But this was at Rock on the Range last week. We were just watching Megadeth behind the music, but we had one of our big backdrops. We flew it at Rock on the Range big festival in Columbus, Ohio. We played early in the day on the main stage, and we had our backdrop was in 3 different sections. It's really tall, and they flew it up, and it was really, really windy. And all of Megadeth's backline, their stacks, their drum set, everything was behind our backdrop. But once they flew the backdrop up before we went on stage, the wind picked it up, and they hadn't tied the bottom of the backdrop down. They hadn't tied it to anything to kind of anchor it down. So the wind picked it up and it blows it back, and literally blows probably 8 tube Marshall amp heads off the stacks, the whole drum set off the drum riser, all of their backline on the ground. Right when they announced us to go on stage. So it's like we're walking on stage, and then there's their roadies are running back behind the backdrop, picking up all the stuff, and it was kind of like, sorry, it's not our fault.
They should have tied it off.
Yeah.
But whatever.
It was kind of funny and embarrassing.
I fell through a backdrop one time. We were in England, and speaking of backdrops, they cause all the problems. I thought I had a longer riser back behind me, and I was gonna be cool and as soon as we got done, and I jumped backwards. When I did, there wasn't anything there, and our backdrop was right against.
I saw it happen. He made it to the edge of the drum riser, and it was kind of like one of those on the edge of the world kind of thing, where you start going back and his arms are doing this.
Let's try to get 10-foot drop.
He did the backstroke all the way through this backdrop till he dropped off the back of the stage.
I landed like a cat, though.
So the 3 of us are up front getting ready to do our bow and all that for the crowd. John Fred's MIA and the backdrop's doing this.
Man, that little boy came up to the meet and greet, and he was like, "Did your drummer die?"
Yeah.
I wasn't up there for a while. I hurt, man. That's silly stuff. Hey, everybody, I'm Jon Fred Young.
I'm John.
And I'm Ben from Blackstone Cherry.
And you
heard it on Jam.